Hello developers! In this video, I will be explaining the code for the Camunda-UiPath connector. Let's start with the walkthrough. Firstly, we have the README file. Please familiarize yourself with the configuration before getting started. I have stored all the necessary files for the proof of concept in the repository. Here you can find the Camunda model and the UiPath box. But let's start with the application. The configuration files are stored in this folder. In the application properties, all configurations for Camunda and the Spring Boot application are stored. In the UiPath properties, all the configurations for UiPath are made. The README describes how you have to make the configurations. Let's check out the Java code. This configuration file shows the REST template for the REST calls. And this class starts the Spring Boot application. In the task handler, the external task and the external task service are called. First, the variables from the workflow are read here. Then, the job is assigned to a provider. Currently, only UiPath is available. But if you want to add more providers, you can add them here. This class shows the UiPath authenticator. It retrieves an access token from the orchestrator when one is needed. Here, it checks if the token has expired. This is the access to the token for the other classes. When a new token is needed, it is retrieved with this function. If you have enabled the webhook, this class is responsible for decrypting the received messages and checking whether the messages are permissible. This controller accepts messages from the outside under this link. For every new job, a job task is instantiated. This includes all variables necessary to execute a job and then complete it. The start info contains all the data needed to start a robot. This is a helper class that simplifies the creation of a JSON file. Let's move on to the service classes. This class includes all the calls to the orchestrator that are required for job execution. Here, the folder ID is retrieved. The release key from the robot by the robot name. This function starts a robot. This adds a new queue item to the orchestrator. And this function checks the status of a queue item. If the webhook is disabled, the polling service is active. Here you can see that polling is performed when the webhook is disabled. Here, the job task is registered in a list. Whenever a new entry is added, it checks if there is any outdated job task in the list. If there is one, it is removed from the list. It polls for new events every 5 seconds. These are all the statuses that the job can have. They are handled differently based on the result. Just some error handling. If the job has been successfully executed, the variables are received, and the job is marked as completed. The webhook handler is structured in the same way as the polling service. Jobs are being registered. The list is being cleaned up. The payload from the outside is being processed. The statuses are being checked. When the task is completed, the variables are read again, and the task is marked as completed. Okay, let's go back to the beginning where the vendor is evaluated. Oops, wrong class. And here the job for UiPath is started, and the function start UiPath job in the UiPath task executor class is called. That's it for the code overview. If you're interested in exploring the details and accessing the files, please check out the repository link below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I hope you find this demonstration helpful.